Hey everyone, and welcome to What Did I Miss?, where today I'll be breaking down the first episode of the 6th and final season of Better Call Saul, and looking for all the Easter eggs to Breaking Bad that you may have missed. This season, like the final season of Breaking Bad, will be split into two halves, with 5 more new episodes of Better Call Saul airing weekly after the first 2, and then the next 6 episodes will begin airing on July 17th of 2022. This means there will be a little less than 2 months in between the two halves of the final season, which is still a lot less than the year that Breaking Bad fans had to wait in between the two halves of its final run. This episode begins with a black and white then color shot of Jimmy aka Saul's ties being thrown into a box. One character missing from the first 2 episodes of the season is Gene Tekovic, the latest alias of Jimmy McGill that he is using in Nebraska after the events of Breaking Bad. Every scene that the character has been in has been shot in black and white, so the fact that these ties start in black and white and then gain more and more color is used to symbolize how we have watched Jimmy develop over the series. As he started out as Gene in Nebraska, but then we went back and saw the beginnings of Jimmy McGill as a lawyer and his progression now into Saul Goodman. The song playing during this flash-forward scene at Saul's house is Wine and Roses, which is also the name of the episode. The song was written by Henry Mancini and is notable for having only 2 sentences of lyrics. The symbolism of the song and how it notes a period of prosperity is obvious when played over the lavish home that Jimmy lived in as Saul, but the fact that the song consists of just 2 stanzas may also be an allusion to the 2 lives of Jimmy, who will become the Saul that we first met in Breaking Bad during this final season of Better Call Saul. Mixed in with his many ties and suits are a few Easter eggs from throughout the show's history. In his closet, I noticed a couple boxes of MBT sneakers, the same ones that Jimmy used to trick Irene with in the 3rd season episode Fail. Speaking of season 3, I also saw the hat that Jimmy wore the first time he used the name Saul Goodman during a television commercial in the episode Off Brand. Also within his belongings is the book The Time Machine by H.G. Wells. Again, the most obvious connection here is that within the series so far, and still presumably in the final season of Better Call Saul, we will be witnessing the past, present, and future narrative just as the protagonist in the book did. But the Time Machine is also told from the perspective of the protagonist and the narrator, which turn out to be 2 different characters. This is similar to how on Breaking Bad we first met Saul Goodman, and later on this series we learn that his name is actually Jimmy McGill. The book also starts at the end of the story and then recounts the events, once again similar to how Jimmy's story has been told on this series. Also being hauled away is the white Cadillac with the Lawyer Up license plate that Saul used throughout his time on Breaking Bad, but has yet to be seen on the series. However, the car was teased in the first season when Jimmy went out to his car for the first time and faked like he was walking to a white Cadillac, but then entered his now destroyed Suzuki Esteem. We can also see a white guitar being taken out, which is the same one that Jimmy told Joey Dixon about in the 3rd season episode Expenses.
You see that? Fender Stratocaster signed by Richie Blackmore. You know who that is, right?
Someone no one's ever heard of.
There's also a box of bingo balls, no doubt from Jimmy's time at various retirement homes, while trying to gain clients in the show's first season. The episode bingo from that season is also when we meet Betsy and Craig Kettleman, 2 characters that return later this season. In the box with the bingo balls is a picture of a cowboy on a horse taken by Olivia Bitsui, which Mesa Verde used as its logo and had to compensate Miss Bitsui for, thanks to Saul, in last season's episode Wexler vs. Goodman. That episode was directed by Michael Morris, who returned to direct this episode and has directed 2 other episodes so far on the series. The first episode he directed was the season 4 entry Quite a Ride, and it was the first time on Better Call Saul to include a scene that would have occurred during Breaking Bad's final season, in which we see Saul and Francesca shredding documents in his office before he used to go on the lam, an event that occurred sometime before Saul leaves New Mexico for Nebraska. It makes sense to start this season off with this director, since Bob Odenkirk has stated that the final season of Better Call Saul has more connections to Breaking Bad than any other. Ironically, both the bingo balls and the photo are in a box labeled no value, even though Jimmy used these objects to gain huge settlements for his clients at the retirement homes connected to Sandpiper Crossing and to Olivia Bitsui. As the scene fades out, the top of the bottle of Zafiro Anejo rolls out onto the street. This was first seen in the 2nd season episode The Switch, and has since been a symbol of Kim's character's development, as she seems to be drawn to it before making what look like bad decisions. The fact that it ends up in the gutter is probably foreshadowing a not-so-good ending for Kim, which many have feared will be the case since she is never mentioned during the events of Breaking Bad. After the flash-forward intro, the episode starts right when last season ended. This structure is very similar to how the final season of Breaking Bad started. As in the first scene in that show's last season, we saw Walt before he enacts his final plan, and we find out what ultimately happened to the character, and then cut to him just after the events of the prior season. Just like here, we are first seeing events that occur after the events shown on the series in Saul's house, which is still before the final events that concern the character which we know will occur in Nebraska, and then cut right back to the final scene of last season in Mexico. After escaping the assault on his house, Lalo is able to make it to another house where he proceeds to recommend that the husband shave to look like him. It would seem that he then kills the wife there and then the husband and burns him to make it look like he died in the assassination attempt on his life. Jimmy and Kim are waking up at the hotel they stayed at while waiting out the events with Lalo at the end of last season, and we can see the remains of the ice cream party that they had. It looks like Jimmy is still worried about Kim's behavior after she showed a lot of interest in going after Howard in order to get paid out from the Sandpiper Crossing settlement faster. After returning back to their condo, Kim finds the world's second best lawyer cup in the bag of money that Jimmy got at the end of last season and throws it away. This would appear to signify that Kim is fine with taking this dirty money, but does not want to be reminded of the consequences. Next, we see the aftermath of the assault on the Salamanca house, and it starts with a close-up of an ant on the finger of the man that Lalo had called Gus and say that Lalo was killed in the attack. Ants were used last season in the episodes 50% Off and The Guy for this to show how the innocence of Jimmy is slowly being replaced by the greed of Saul Goodman. Here, I think the lone ant on a dead man's hand is used to signify Nacho's descent and how alone and close to danger that he now is. Also, the episode The Guy for this is one of the other episodes directed by Michael Morris, who, as I mentioned, returned to direct this episode. Soon the ant is towered over by the shadows of the Salamanca cousins, Marco and Leonel, who were introduced during Breaking Bad's third season premiere. They leave a Santa Muerte card on the body, which they think is Lalo, and in their first appearance in the episode No Mas, they prayed to a Santa Muerte shrine for traveling to kill Walter White to avenge the death of Tuco Salamanca. Gus takes a call from Juan Bosa about the attack at the same trailer at the Los Pollos Hermanos chicken farm that he used to meet with Hector and the cousins in the Season 4 Breaking Bad episode Smoke and various times after. Saul meets Kim at the courthouse and gives her a brown suit for her client, has better luck with it. I believe that this is the same suit that Jimmy wore out in the desert with Tuco Salamanca in the first season episode Mijo. At the courthouse, Jimmy speaks with ADA Gina Khalil and Detective Tim Roberts about his client Jorge Guzman. Gina Khalil first appeared last season on Better Call Saul, but Tim Roberts first appeared on Breaking Bad as a friend of Hank's in the second season episode Grilled. On his pinky, we can see that Saul is still wearing the ring that his late friend Marco wore and was first seen in the first season episode Hero. Later in the day, Saul meets up with Kim at the El Camino Diner, which is an actual restaurant in New Mexico. Meeting there is a reference to the movie El Camino, the other Breaking Bad continuation story, which detailed what happened to Jesse Pinkman after the finale. Also, El Camino translates to English as the way or the ride, and the fact that Saul is stopping at this diner at the end of the day may be alluding to the fact that this season is the end of his story or his ride. Saul goes to a country club to begin him and Kim's plan against Howard. There he passes Howard's 1998 Jaguar XJ8, which he put a bowling ball through the rear windshield of last season in the episode titled Namaste, which is also the license plate on the car. It looks like Howard's golf shirt, like most of the clothes that he wears, is the color Hamlindigo Blue, which is a color that Howard Hamlin has at least tried to trademark as part of the HHM logo, as was revealed in the first season episode Hero. As Saul walks into the country club, behind him walks Kevin Wachtel, who promptly stops the tour that Saul was going on. Kevin is the CEO of Mesa Verde Bank and was first introduced in the second season and last seen last season in the episode JMM after he was defeated by Saul and told off by Kim. Near the border, Lalo gets dropped off with a group of people trying to get to the United States in the back of a truck that is designed to look like it is carrying bales of straw. In the aforementioned third season episode No Mas, the Salamanca cousins also crossed the border in the back of a truck that was designed like this. Coincidentally, in both cases the drivers are killed by a member of the Salamanca family, in this case Lalo. Well, that was everything I saw, but let me know in the comments if I missed anything. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please hit that like button if you have enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time on What Did I Miss?